Hi everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Sudden Impact. So today I'm just going to be reviewing yesterday's episode of Impact Wrestling, which was the Rebellion themed episode. Rebellion being the pay-per-view event that has been cancelled had to be cancelled by Impact Wrestling because the venue which they were holding it in New York is closed at the moment because of the current situation. So Impact Wrestling decided to do an empty arena set of tapings for the pay-per-view, the pay-per-view matches. And so the first night one of the Rebellion was last night, and so the next day of the Rebellion pay-per-view themed episode is next Tuesday on the weekly show. So, next Wednesday for people in Australia, next Tuesday night for people in America. So, with that said, we're going to jump right into the first match. So basically, the first match was the team of Tommy Dreamer, Rhino, and a mystery opponent who was later revealed to be the returning Crazy Steve, going up against the team of OVE, or Ohio versus Everything, which has the team members of Jake and Dave Christ, who are brothers, and Madman Fulton, or Sawyer Fulton, whoever you call it, whoever you know him by. So this was OVE's chance to finally beat the older guys, Tommy Dreamer and Rhino, because in the previous episodes of Impact, which is their weekly show, they've been on a losing streak since they've lost Sami Callihan, who was their leader. So they've become a bit directionless at the moment. And so, as you can imagine, they lost again. So hopefully them losing is just a sign that they just don't have the direction with a suitable leader. So hopefully they'll be able to work through that and get some wins on the board. So it was pretty sad to see them lose to the older guys again, but hopefully this is just for the purposes of wrestling, and hopefully that doesn't mean they're going out the door of Impact Wrestling, which I would not like to see at this stage. So, and then after that match, we get a pre-recorded video interview between one of the commentators, Josh Matthews, and one of the number one contenders for the world title, Eddie Edwards. So Eddie Edwards was not able to make it to either of the tapings that were done. So he was just at home for whatever reason, and saying he was disappointed that he couldn't be there, and is really hoping that he can still have that match for the World Championship with Michael Elgin and the champion Tessa Blanchard, who I will get to later. Okay, and so send it back to the ring for the next match, which is, I think it was a tag team match between the teams of the Rascals, which were represented by Wentz and Des. They're really athletic guys. Also, the newly formed team of Triple XL, of Larry D and AC Romero, and TJP and Falaba. So this match was to determine the number one contendership for the tag team championships. I'm not sure when that match is going to happen. The tag team championships, but who knows? So this match was great wrestling, and because it highlighted all of the wrestlers' skills and somewhat hid the inexperience of Team or Triple XL, because they've just been tagged. They just formed a team a couple of weeks ago, and this is their second match together as an actual team. So, and surprisingly, they won, which I'm not. I wasn't too pleased with that, because the other teams that were in the match deserved that chance to actually compete for the tag team championships more, because they've actually been developing. They've actually had a bit of momentum going towards them in their tag team championship hunt. But hey, I'm not Impact Management, so whatever they've got planned, we'll just have to wait and see. So after that match, they send it to... Josh Matthews says on commentary that Tessa Blanchard was not able to get out of Mexico because of the country being locked down and not being able to fly into the United States. And then we get it sent straight back to the backstage area, where we've got a new backstage interviewer called Gia Miller, who is talking to the other competitor in that world title match, Michael Elgin, and he's basically saying that both Eddie and Tessa Blanchard are afraid of him, so that's why they didn't come to the tapings. So he's just saying, well, if they're not coming to the tapings, then you should just award me the championship. And so who knows what Impact Wrestling is going to do, but I would like to see Michael Elgin win the world championship, because that's mainly why he was brought into the company, as a person to bring legitimacy to the world title picture. And at that time, he immediately inserted himself into the world title picture in last year's Rebellion event by attacking the current holder of the Impact Championship, then Brian Cage, and that set off the events for the next couple of weeks and months of programming for Impact Wrestling last year. So I would like to see him take the championship off Tessa, whether that be in an actual match or whether they just strip Tessa of the championship and just award it to Elgin. I mean, the guy looks like a legitimate athlete. I mean, his pecs are so big, they're like freaking stop signs. I mean, if you look at the footage of him in any way, you'll see what I mean. All right. So we get it sent back after to the ring after that interview, For the next match, which is between Willie Mack and Ace Austin for Ace Austin's X Division Championship. Now, to me, this was the match of the night. It had excellent wrestling. It had a good story to it. It had a good build-up to it as well. Sorry, guys. There are helicopters in the background because I'm doing this outside again. So, and each wrestler again got to show off their skills, and there were many hard-hitting moves done on each of the wrestlers. Heaps of false finishes, like means kick out, like almost pinfall victories, but then at the last second the person kicks out of the pin, and that went back and forth, and then Willie Mack just started using the stunner like it was the super kick, essentially. Hopefully that this doesn't mean that, hopefully the stunner doesn't get used like that always, because to me, when Stone Cold Steve Austin used the stunner, it was basically lights out for all of his opponents. And if they did manage to kick out, Steve Austin was in trouble and in for a better fight. So hopefully that doesn't go down the same way as the super kick or the DDT, which are both moves that have been used in every wrestler's move arsenal, so they're basically non-effective anymore. So finally the match ends with Willie Mack, or Willard Mackford, as I call him. I don't know why. I think it's mainly because I have a textbook that has one of those titles in it. But getting the pinfall after doing a 6-star frog splash, not a 5-star frog splash like Rob Van Dam does, or even a frog splash like Eddie Guerrero does. So I think he copied that move, the name of the move, from Kevin Owens in WWE. So hey, Kevin Owens, you're listening, take it up with Willard Mackford, new Impact champion, Impact X Division champion. And that victory was just a feel-good moment, because this was Willie Mack's first championship in Impact Wrestling, and you could just see the emotion on his face, the hard-fought victory. This one would have been great if there was a crowd there, because they would have shared in the moment with Willie Mack, and also it would have been good if Willie Mack's tag team partner, who is injured at the moment, Rich Swann, also came down to the ringside to congratulate him, so to just share in how special that moment was. But hey, it is what it is. So then we get another video package of the tag team champions, the North, saying that they are the best team in the world, and saying that when the world was created, Canada was put on top of America. So obviously that means that they are not able to go into America because they are Canadians. So they're sitting at home as well during this current situation. So hopefully they'll get to have the match between themselves and Triple XL once the conditions are lifted, the travel restrictions are lifted. And they're basically saying, yep, good on them, good on Triple XL, but we're better and we're the best tag team in the world. So basically they're calling out any other team that were released, cough cough, Revival and Gallows and Anderson, as in my previous video. So remains to be seen what happens after that. And so after that video package, it's sent back to the ring for the women's match between Kylie Ray and Kiera Hogan. I just don't like Kylie Ray's character at the moment, even though she recently signed on to Impact Wrestling for quite a few years. I definitely think she needs just to lose that character that they've given her, of the always positive person, never says anything bad about anyone. It's just so cringeworthy, and I just don't like it. I would have preferred Kiera Hogan to win this match because they've been building her up in previous weeks to be a possible contender for the Women's Championship. The Women's Championship in Impact Wrestling is called the Knockouts Championship, as well as the whole Women's Division is called the Knockouts Division. I don't know why. Please let me know in the comments below if you know why that is, anybody. When they created the division back in 2007, they just named it the Knockouts. I'm not sure the reasoning why, and it's just being kept as that. So Kylie Ray won that match. I guess this was just to keep her in Impact Wrestling, right? Because I know that after her first match in All Elite Wrestling, she immediately asked for her release. So maybe this was Impact Wrestling's way of just saying, please don't leave us. We'll give you the victory. We'll let you win. So, yeah. And so we move on to the video build up to the last match between Sami Callihan and former UFC champion and Impact Hall of Fame inductee and first Impact World Champion ever, Ken Shamrock. So, as you might remember, Sami Callihan was previously the leader of the group OVE, and since he lost his world championship to Tessa Blanchard at the last pay-per-view, he went away and stepped back from wrestling to develop a new character, which is just another great masterstroke by Impact Wrestling and Sami Callihan, as I feel that this was just another way to build up his character as the baddest man in professional wrestling. Because he smashed a baseball bat into Eddie Edwards' face 2 years ago. He burnt both Conan and Ken Shamrock's face with a fireball. He smashed Brian Cage's wife, Melissa Santos, with a champagne bottle in their wedding, which just happened to be in an episode of Impact Wrestling. And he delivered a series of pile drivers to Tessa Blanchard throughout their feud last year. So that's just adding to his baddest guy in professional wrestling. Yes, yeah, I said that, Maxie. Come at me, bro. Sorry. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, or MJF, is calling himself the baddest guy in professional wrestling. Nah, I don't agree. Okay, it's Sami Callihan. So we go into this match. So Ken Shamrock comes out to the ring, and then Sami Callihan comes out with his new music, and as soon as he gets into the ring, he attacks Shamrock before the ref can ring the bell. So the ref separates them finally and then rings the bell. After a series of brutal strikes and kicks in the ring, both wrestlers take it to the backstage area because it's apparently a no-holds-barred match and no disqualifications, no countouts, and apparently pinfalls can count anywhere, as you will see. So in the backstage area, surprisingly, OVE turns up and blindsides Ken Shamrock, but then Sami Callihan runs them off and basically saying this is his personal fight, and I'm thinking that's his way of saying that he's moved on from as the leader of the OVE group. So Callihan and Shamrock continue their backstage fight for a little bit, and then they brawl out into the car park, which only has one massive semi-trailer truck in it, which has all the TV controls in it, and both wrestlers take turns of bashing each other off that truck. And Sami Callihan puts a sleeper hold on Ken Shamrock, but Ken Shamrock is obviously a UFC trained fighter. He knows how to get out of those holds, so he just rams Sami Callihan into the truck repeatedly, and Sami Callihan falls to the ground, and after that Ken Shamrock locks in his finishing move, which is the ankle lock, and Sami Callihan passes out from the pain. He doesn't tap out, he passes out, so the ref awards the victory to Ken Shamrock via knockout, and that is the end of night one of the Rebellion themed episodes of Impact. So, and that is the end of the episode. So please let me know what you thought of the episode. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel as well. And as always, I'm your host, John. Thanks for watching.